There's a place God's preordained, predestined for you alone to get to, and you can't push somebody else to go there in front of you. There's a place that God's predestined for you to arrive at a certain time, and some of us may miss the timing, but it doesn't mean we miss the place. We don't miss the destiny. We don't miss that destination. You know, in New York City, there's a highway that leads to JFK, and I take it every once in a while when I land there. It's called the Van Wyck Expressway, and there are a bunch of ramps, exits, and entrances. And sometimes I've got to go, let's say, to the Hyatt place to stay for a few nights, and I'm going there, and I get off at the wrong ramp. The amazing thing about this is if I keep driving on the service road or on the road that's running parallel to the highway, if I keep driving long enough, there's an entrance ramp that I can get on back the highway. A lot of us, God's giving us a vision. We took the wrong exit, and God's saying, don't worry about it. Now we're looking at a red light and we're thinking, oh gosh, I missed it all. The awesome thing about God, He still wants to take you there. If you keep driving on the wrong road that's parallel to the right road, there will be an entrance ramp that God will give you another chance to get on back to the pathway where God has already pre-aligned, predestined, preordained for you to drive on. Just keep moving. And that's what a lot of people do. They have a vision and somehow they take the wrong move, got in the wrong relationship, got the wrong job, did the wrong investment deal, and they get frustrated to the point where they want to just squash the vision plan. But if God set you as a father, a mother, a young man, a young woman, whatever, if God set before you a plan and He's spoken to you and you feel this overwhelming compassion and burden to do something great for God, just know this was not your vision. You're just carrying God's purpose for your life, but it was all God's plan anyway. And the greatest fulfillment other than salvation is for you and I to step into a God-given purpose on the earth. Someone asked a question. My main assignment on the earth is to point people to Christ. Secondly, is to be a good father and a good husband. But besides that, there's another purpose. It's the God purpose. Many other plans in a man's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that will prevail. Let me describe this to you real quick, what this means. God's purpose, I want you to just extract the word purpose for a moment. Take it out of context for just a quick second. God's purpose is simply God's plan that rules over my plans. That's it. That's what God's purpose is. God's purpose is God's plan, but we call it purpose because it's bigger than us. Your purpose is bigger than you. For example, this piece of wood on top of my podium, I installed this myself. I don't know who came up with this idea to sell this circular piece of wood in Home Depot. Maybe they're alive or maybe they're dead. But let's just pretend they're dead. Sad, we shouldn't do that, but let's just pretend they are. Guess what? Their purpose is living on. The shirt you're wearing is somebody's idea. The earring on your ear is somebody's idea. The ring on your finger is somebody's idea. The shoe on your feet, somebody's idea. That's their purpose. But guess what? They may have moved on. They may have sold their company. They may have passed on from this life to another. But their purpose lives on. In other words, your purpose is greater than you. When you think about your purpose, you got to think about your generations to come. Can they inherit this? Can they live this through? Can they pass this on from generations? If the thing you're doing cannot be passed on, that's not your purpose. Because your purpose is greater than you. It's greater than your lifetime, your lifespan, your life's journey. It's greater. You've got to be able to see God's purpose in your life so much bigger than you. Then after you, it continues. That's one of the reasons we're structured a church that, I believe our church is going to grow and I believe great things are going to happen. It's been growing. We thank God for that. But here's the thing. We do not want to build church on personality. Because when personality dies, the church is dead. Here's the problem. A lot of us, we don't see our purpose bigger than us. We see our purpose just for us. And we tell our kids, hey, this is what I'm doing now. But when you grow up, you better get up and get. That's good. But there's an inheritance you must pass on. There's a legacy that is associated with your purpose that you must leave behind. That's called the baton. You got to have that in your hand. I do not want to give my sons nothing minus zero. I want to give them something plus something multiplied by something so they can run away with it and say, Daddy left this behind. Daddy left a bank account. Daddy left some land. Daddy left some houses. He left an investment. More than that, he left a call of God in our family. He left something behind. You've got to see your purpose more than you. And a lot of times selfishness keeps us running after our own plans and not God's purpose. Let me kick this up another notch real quick. Your purpose will bring you wealth. The Bible says the prophet is worthy of his hire. If God's got a purpose in your life, whether it's business, whether it's secular, whether it's ministry, it's got to take care of your family. If you're starting a business, you're not doing it because you're a charitable person, you're a nice person, you're cute. You got to pay your bills. What is that thing that you see will become reality and nobody sees it? You know what's a true vision? Nobody sees it, but you're still going at it. Circumstances are working against it, but while everybody's sleeping, you're up planning it. Vision will keep you going. Somebody say going. When you have a true vision, when everybody stops, your clock will keep ticking. Everybody's sleeping, they're tired. You're tired, but something causes you to get up. And some mornings I can't help myself but to get up, and sometimes I see the team around me and they're great people around me. Thank God for them. But sometimes you can see you got to kind of kickstart their engine, you know. But when you've got a vision and a passion, something on the inside of you tells you get up. Vision will keep you going. Vision will keep you growing. Somebody say growing. When there's a vision in your life, you want to make it better. When there's a vision in your business, you want to research and hang with the right people who are already successful and more successful than you, because you want to become as successful as them or even more successful than them. So vision will keep you growing. If you find yourself not growing, chances are you don't have a vision. You've got a plan. In other words, you're not running after purpose. You're running after a plan. A plan is simply a start and a finish. A purpose has a start but no ending. Let me say it again. A plan has a start and a finish. It was our plan to put this up, the backdrop. It's done. It's up. It's our purpose to plant churches. It's a plan for us to hit the number 100. But it's God's purpose for us to keep planting more churches. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So plans have a start date and an end date. Purpose has no end date. So don't put an end to your purpose. When you die, your purpose didn't die. The purpose is handed down to the generations to come. Or that person that you lay hands on and say, hey, here's my business, run away with it. Or I'll sell it out and it will become something bigger than me one day. Think about the brand of clothes you're wearing right now. Somebody came up with that idea. They're not here to celebrate your wearing their clothing. You are wearing it. Their purpose lives on beyond themselves. They don't have to be here for you to wear that shirt, but you're wearing it. That's what purpose is all about. And then purpose will keep you glowing. Vision will keep you glowing. Glowing. Keeps you glowing. It will keep you going. It will keep you growing, and it will keep you glowing. Your vision will keep you glowing. In other words, it will bring fulfillment in your life. Not realizing that I was not running after God's purpose. I was running after my plan. And plans will bring income, but purpose will keep income. Somebody say amen about that. And so I ran after plans and not purpose. In 2007, God had to give me a Job experience where I lost everything. When a doctor looks at you and says, now you're allergic to one of the drug and the chemotherapy, ABVD, B is bleomycin, and Josh, you're allergic, and 1 out of 1,000,000 is allergic to the drug bleomycin, and you are the lucky guy. What do you do then? How to make a decision. The only thing that's left is surrender my heart to Jesus, because I'm going to die. You know, forget the cars, forget the houses, forget the finance. I need Jesus right now. Man, I went from cloud 10 to 0 overnight. I'll go through the whole week because I wanted to come Saturday to tell our young people, God loves you. Hey, man, run after your purpose. And while that was going, my body was deteriorating. Things were going bad to the point where I had to hold the wall and walk in the chairs and walk. And Mom had to feed me, and it was going bad. But one night I had this revelation. I said, God, my grandma died of cancer. My pastor died of cancer. I cannot die. Look at the impact my life is making. Come on, God. I know I didn't get it right. I got off the wrong ramp, but can you give me another chance to get on? God, you love me so much. Come on, your love will never cease, will never end, will never die. God, look, and I folded up as a man. I used to be the tough guy, radical guy. I don't smile much. My face looked like a piece of rock. But this day, by myself in the presence of God, man, God will break you silly sometimes. God will bring you from cloud 9 to 0 overnight because he wants you. He's after you. And man, this 3 o'clock o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting at my dining room table facing north, and I say, God, can you do me a favor? Can you please forgive me? Can you please wash me in your blood? Can you please give me another chance? I don't ever want to lose the feeling that I feel on Saturday afternoons at 6:30 p.m. when I'm speaking to an audience of 60 young persons on fire for God. They're all locked in. Here is a semicircle of children listening to somebody saying, you've got purpose. God, I wrecked up my life, but can you give me another chance? Come on, God, if you did, I will preach the gospel until I die. See what was happening? I was longing for purpose, and I was letting go of plans. And sure enough, God gave me another chance. 10 years just passed that I celebrated healing from terminal cancer. And I want you to know that your vision is so much bigger than your life. Your vision is so much bigger than this moment. Your vision is so much bigger than this circumstance right now. And now when there is a problem we're dealing with, I run to vision because I've got a vision. Let me say this. Ready? Here it comes. Vision is the end. Vision is the sight of the end of the idea that God's given to you. The prophet Habakkuk, here's what he says. He said, I will wait here and watch this, to see what God will say to me. I'm going to say that again. I will wait here and watch to see what God will say to me. So what is the vision for your life? Have you waited and watched to see what God will say to you? A vision is comprised of two aspects. Number one, you've got to be able to hear it. But the deal is sealed when you're able to see what you've heard. Somebody say amen. God is saying to you today, have you heard something? Yes. Okay, awesome. That man of God, that woman, that prophet, whoever spoke this into my life. But can you see what they said? Can you see being healed? Can you see your marriage winning? Come on. Can you see your financial circumstance changing? Can you see your business successful? Can you see it? You don't need a team to see it. You better make sure you see it. Can you see your life healed, delivered, and set free? Can you see your ministry growing? You got to be able to see it, because that same sight of what you see that's called a vision will keep you going, will keep you growing, will keep you glowing. Nothing can stop you because you saw what God has said. So if somebody said, I heard something from God, I heard a vision, you cannot hear a vision. You got to see what you've heard. And I'm not talking about seeing, you've got to see it on the inside. You see yourself going for that graduate degree. The bachelor's was not enough. You going a step further. You see the possibility of another 2.5 years in school that you can acquire this thing. They don't understand, oh, you're so old now, you shouldn't do that. No. But you see that something great can come out of this thing. I want to encourage you today. Stop running after a plan. Nothing is wrong with plans. What is the vision, man? What is the vision? What is the vision for your home? What is the vision for your marriage? What is the vision for your finance? What is the vision? Without a vision, the scripture said the people will perish. And I tell my wife at the starting of every year, let's sit down and talk like the first day. We do a first day date. We talk about the vision. Let me tell a man or woman in this house, cast the vision for your family. Tell them about it. Let them know. So Habakkuk says, I'm going to stay here and see and wait to see what God will say to me. Now, let me wrap this up. The reason you need to see what God will say to you is this. The enemy will come. Follow this. Follow this. It's like you saw a concert. Sorry, you heard the concert. Josh is playing the concert back there behind those blinds. You're here hearing it. Watch this. You have the opportunity to go around those blinds, and you actually not only heard it, you start seeing the concert. So now you saw what you heard. Okay? A month later, you're seeing the concert, but the television is on mute. You know what's happening? You remember the concert because you not only saw it before, you also heard it before. Watch this. A month after that, now you hear the concert on radio, but there's no television. Guess what? You can still envision it because you saw it. Now that you're hearing it, you can remember that you saw it, you heard it, and you saw it. What am I saying? God gives you the moment of experience, an opportunity to hear what he says to you, but also he gives you the opportunity to see what he said, because the noise of life sometimes can get so loud that you forget what you heard. In those moments, you got to say, well, it's kind of loud out here. My spouse is acting up, the kids are acting up, my parents are acting up, the employees are acting up. It's a wreck. In those moments, you got to depend on your spiritual sight. It's noisy, but I can see. See? And there are moments when the enemy will come and blind you by circumstances. Oh, it's just a lot of film, a lot of movies, a lot of things happening in my life. Sickness and lack and problems and insecurity. And all of a sudden, though you cannot see anymore, God has already allowed you a moment to hear it. That's the moment you can remember, I had to shut my eyes. And I know I can't use my vision right now, but I can remember right now what God has said to me. That's what God allows you to hear it, and he allows you to see it. I want to ask you this. What has God said to you? Have you waited there long enough for you to see what he said? You know why you need it? So that you can keep going, so you can keep growing, so you can keep glowing. Joshua has a vision. Moses is dead. The vision was to go to Canaan. Joshua took ownership of that vision. I want to ask you, in the Church of Jesus Christ, wherever you are a part of, and whichever church you're a part of, whether it's here, there, or wherever, I want to ask you a question. Are you just an attendee, or are you a vision owner? Don't attend a church. Take ownership of it. Especially a team church, own it. Take ownership of it, because when you take ownership of it, it's going to keep you going, it's going to keep you growing, it's going to keep you glowing. Take ownership of it. If you're in a business and you're serving an employer, take ownership of it. PJ, what are you talking about? They pay me $25 an hour. That's not enough. You take ownership of it, and God will bless you with your own. In other words, be a good steward of what God's given to you. If God's placed you in a family, and I'm just making this up. You're renting a room because you're single and that's what you got. That's your expense right now. Rent that room, be faithful, and watch what God's going to bless you with your own house very soon. I hear what I'm saying? If you are in a dorm in school and you're sharing a space with somebody, don't be dirty. Do the right thing. Make your bed up. Put your garbage out. Well, they're not. You do the right thing. God will bless you. You'll have your own private apartment out there on campus. God's going to bless you for it. You want to start a business and you see your employer running his business bad or her business bad, don't worry about it. You be faithful to what God's given to you. Keep going, keep growing, keep glowing there. Before you know it, God will give you your very own, because you've been a good steward of somebody else's. Don't stop. Have you waited there long enough to see what God will say to you? Joshua had this experience, and Joshua took time to prepare himself. He took time not only to prepare himself, he took time to make sure that he was patient in going there. So 2 things real quick. In your journey to your destiny, in the process to your purpose, make sure you take time to prepare yourself. And make sure you take time to be patient for where God has taken you. Don't run ahead of the tide. It's going to hurt bad. I like to say this, but pride has a way of humbling us. The Bible says pride cometh before a fall, a haughty spirit before destruction, right? Pride humbles us either way, because God's goal is to keep us humble. So whether or not you choose the humility or you choose pride, we're all going to arrive at one location. It's called the location of humility. Are you hearing me? So you could go there 2 ways. You could just choose it. I'm going to stay humble and just be humble and be simple and allow God to move. Or I'm just going to be puffed up and God's going to humble me anyway. Or the pride will humble me, okay? Because here's what it is. The process of humility through pride is so painful. The process to humility through choice is such an ease. So God's taking you someplace. While you're going there, prepare to get there. Prepare for what you need to prepare for when you get there, you're ready for it. And there are seasons in your life, a lot of you single now, you're waiting for a husband or a wife, and you're like, man, I don't know what God's doing. God's preparing you. And what God's preparing you, God's preparing the other person. I've been through some stuff. So I can tell you, waiting is okay. No, don't wait till you're dead, but wait. But just allow God to do his part. Don't rush. Well, I don't know if I don't date him now, I don't know if I don't know where this is going to go. And you'll realize when you make those impulsive choices, you realize you end up regretting it. The greatest pain in life is regret. Tylenol don't help. Morphine don't help. Injection needles don't help. Come on. If you can just be patient just for another moment. Forever, PJ? No, just another moment. How much is the moment? I don't know. But wait on God and see. But it's got to happen now. This month, something got to happen this month. PJ, by 11:59, if God don't show up, that's it. Whoa, well, that's going to be it. Because usually God don't show up when you put an end to how much you trust him. You ever check that out? God, here's the deal. Today's Sunday. And if you don't show up by Thursday, that's it. And then God's sitting in the back. He's like, yeah, that will be it. You can't do that. Who are you to decide how much God should be trusted? Whether you heal me or not, I'm going to trust you. See, God knows our hearts. God knows if we serve him on conditions or unconditionally. God, I'm going to trust you regardless. I told God in 2007, if you take me, take care of my children. But I'm going to set the conditions for you to breathe and move in my life. Can we end with this? If you're journeying to your vision, live the lifestyle that leads you to it. Humility is not vulnerability. Don't be so humble that you become vulnerable. But don't be so proud that you're unreachable. Humility is not vulnerability. Why they always dress like that and they broke? Because they're preparing for where they're going. Why are you upset at that? God's got a vision for your life. Whatever that is today, run after it. Wait to see what God will say to you. And our dear mothers and fathers, men and women, young people in this audience today, get on with your vision. If there's something I can encourage you to do today, please run with your purpose.